What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Dillian, the body snatcher Whyte. Dillian Whyte has revealed more on the contract offer of 3 weeks ago that Team Joshua has sent to him, and his biggest complaint is that it's a one-way rematch clause. If Anthony Joshua loses, he gets a rematch. If he loses, he does not. Now, that's his quarrel, that's his beef, and me counterpunching Dillian Whyte's quarrel and beef behind this contract. It reminds me of the same contract from 2019, where Joshua would have got more money if he beat Joshua in the rematch. If they would have fought, that's why he didn't want to fight on top of, there wasn't enough time on top of, all this other stuff, right? So my counterpunch to Dillian Whyte is, Dillian Whyte had the opportunity of a lifetime. Were all the terms ideal? No, they weren't. It was a Queensberry show. It was against Tyson Fury, but it was for the WBC heavyweight championship of the world. And he had that opportunity and he come up short. Now, he still took the deal, and that's what it was. He got beat. There was no rematch clause. There wasn't nothing to be discussed because he lost. To me, Dillian Whyte is at a point in his career where if he's serious about avenging these guys, I think he needs to stop and remember he's not the same fighter that he used to be. In fact, Anthony Joshua's not the same fighter commercially that he used to be because he doesn't make the same money that he used to make, okay? So he's not a champ anymore. So there's no need for him to be worried about what AJ gets in a contract versus what he gets if he has faith in himself. The same thing I'm saying about Dillian Whyte is the same thing I said about Deontay Wilder when Deontay Wilder turned down the $15 million offer when there was no rematch clause included in their deal. Okay, so, and I'm like, okay, there's no rematch clause in the deal, but then again, it seems to me that you're too much worried about losing versus winning. Because of course, if you won, you could ask for way more money, just like Andy Ruiz did when he upset Anthony Joshua, okay? And it would have been a lot more for Deontay Wilder because Deontay Wilder at the time was the WBC heavyweight champion of the world. Okay, so it's like Dillian Whyte is playing these roles of these guys that are in position, but he's not in position. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, you're worried about the wrong things. I think, in 2020, and in the Jermaine Franklin fight, we've learned two things. We've learned that his punch resistance is all but gone, and we've learned that, hey, you're one punch away from getting knocked spark out, and there is no stability behind you to put that type of trust and marquee value in you. Okay, so that's what we see at that point. And I look at Dillian Whyte as a guy that if he wants to show that he's the best, he's going to have to start, are agreeing to these concessions and stop all the business hardball, because what happens at the end of the day, he ends up not fighting these guys. Yes, he fought Tyson Fury, but that really almost didn't happen anyway. He hasn't fought Deontay Wilder. He hasn't fought Anthony Joshua. He hasn't fought a lot of fighters. So, Dillian Whyte, I think at this point, he's 35 years old. Take the deal, take the money. If you feel that you can knock out Anthony Joshua, which, it's the heavyweight division. Everybody has a chance of knocking each other out. So I wouldn't really put him, as a total underdog, but I don't think he will beat AJ, because I think AJ will hit him with something before Dillian Whyte can catch him with something. That's what I think based on how these guys are. But then again, styles make fights, and they had one hell of a fight last time for 7 rounds, and he did hit Joshua and buckle Joshua, right? So, who said he can't do that again? But then again, he has to have faith in himself, because if he doesn't have faith in himself, we may hear situations of him complaining about things that he feels that he should have that I don't think he should, okay? Now, don't get me wrong. I don't care for rematches either. Like, you know, if he loses to Dillian Whyte in a rematch and he does rematch him, it don't matter anyway. Nobody going to give a shit about AJ. You know what I mean? If he loses to Dillian Whyte on top of losing to Alexander Usyk twice and then that fuck up in Madison Square Garden, people are going to add all that up and look at AJ as a guy that he's not what he used to be. They've been saying that a long time anyway. You know, so I think if anything, you know, Dillian Whyte should take the deal if he really wants the deal. And unfortunately, it may be out of his grasp because Eddie Hearn and AJ may always go another route. So when you give any flack or you give any type of resistance of your displeasement with anything, especially you being the B side, that's what you're going to get most of the time. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Dillian Whyte exposing, revealing his discomfort in the last negotiation contract. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.